the one thing that some people don't know about me is that I love music and dancing. In my music collection, I've got quite a big music collection in terms of CDs, and even I still have vinyls, and I have lots of music on my phone. And my music interests are my music interest is quite wide. I love classical music. I like choral music. I listen to Latin American music. Jazz is a big part of my life. Kwaito, I love Kwaito music, and I love R&B. So music, as long as it sounds good, I'm in it, and I love music. It makes me tick. I've got two quotes that I'd like to share. One quote is by Khalil. The other one, well, I'm not so sure where it comes from, but it's a saying. It's a quote that I loved from my university days, and it says, "If you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was." And for me, it speaks about freedom, allowing yourself to go with the flow and not to stress in life. And don't force situations. Let everything flow. And if those things are going to happen, they will happen. Just be ready for them when they happen, but don't stress and strain and force things. Let things flow and be free. So that's the first quote. And the second one is by the prophet, Khalil Gibran. It says, "You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. But what are your possessions but things you keep for fear you may need them tomorrow?" So again, it's about understanding that if you really want to make an impact, it's about giving of yourself in any setting, in any situation. Give of yourself at work, in the home, in your relationships with people. Give your time, listen, be present, be conscious. Inspired by women all over the world. I'm always in awe of what women can do with nothing. But specifically, I am inspired by South African women and women that I've seen in the location who, out of nothing, would keep the home fires burning to the extent that the home stands, the children can go to school, and these children become something just because the mother was there in the home and kept things together. She might have worked as a domestic worker, but those kids will sleep with food in their bellies every night, whatever that was. And the home would always be warm. And I've seen it happen. And those are the women that inspire me to say, you know, anything is possible. If they could do it, everyone should be able to do it. So women generally inspire me. As a coach, I understand the fear thing, because fear is not such a bad thing. Fear is good because it makes you bring your A game. You're on your toes when you're feeling a bit of fear or fright, because then you make sure that you plan. And that's what I do. Before any occasion or event where I have to speak, I used to sing at school and stand on the stage and sing a solo. Because I love singing, but I would always have butterflies in my stomach. But I would make sure I know my song, and I know the inflections in the song, and I know how I'm going to hit those notes. And even when I speak, the same thing. I prepare very well. And of course, when I get on the stage, the nerves are still there. That's good, because I'm aware of the fact that I don't want to fail. So preparation, planning, psyching myself up for what needs to happen. And then I always also, because I love music, will play my favorite song before the thing, if I can. I'll play my favorite song. I mean, when I worked, if I was going to a very difficult meeting in the morning at work, I'd be playing on my CDs, I'd be playing the songs that I like that inspire me, so that when I walk into the office, I'm walking with a step. I'm like, nothing's gonna go wrong today because I'm feeling good. And the music would put me into that zone. And as I say, the fear is good because it makes you make sure that you don't put a step wrong. Yes, sometimes things will happen, but with good planning and good preparation, chances are 9 out of 10 times you'll be okay. And also before I speak or sing, I'll take a deep breath, and then I just know that. And after first sentence or the first phrase in the song, I'm in it and I'm gone. And that's how I do it. She gave me an opportunity, because now it came at a point where I was retired and having time to do things that I like. And it came at the right time for me because it's in the realm of developing young women to be leaders of tomorrow. So empowering women to lead or girls to lead is exactly what I'd like to see happen with leaders of the future, with groom girls to become the best that they can be. And it gives me that opportunity to also, again, give of myself, share my experiences, tell my story where I can, and also learn from the girls, because the girls, as much as we mentor the girls, the mentees teach us a lot of things that we might be blind to. And they teach us to listen, because yes, when you are seasoned, you tend to think you've seen it all, you know it all. But hey, the girls show us every day in G4G that there are things that we really don't get. And by working with them, we are also growing. And that for me is magic. And G4G puts, we take girls who perhaps are too well, I think it's going to come in the next point, but the point I wanted to make is, you see girls who come being very shy, don't want to speak, but G4G puts the fire under them and they start performing and doing miracles, and you say, wow. So for me, yes, when I joined, I didn't actually know how it would unfold, but just listening to the motivation behind it and why it was started, I then felt this was exactly where I wanted to participate going forward. Yes, I remember in our first, because I was with G4G from the beginning. I'm a founding member of the G4G South Africa. So our first cohort with UJ, I mean, this was almost like an experiment for us because we hadn't done it here. And yes, and it was amazing to see in my circle, this one girl who used to just sit in the corner and be shy. And the one day she just came up and said, when they were doing their speeches, I will speak first. It was like, wow, yo, really? And I mean, she stood up and she volunteered to go and make the speech in the plenary session. And it was like, wow, this thing really works. And she went on at UJ because she saw the need. There were lots of needs for students. And she decided to start her own little charity at school where she collects food and tin stuff and toiletries for other children who don't have. And she was inspired to a very large extent by G4G because she felt she wanted to serve. And for me, it just convinced me that, wow, yeah, this thing works. And yeah, we see it all the time. These girls just blossoming and finding their voices and coming out of their shells. And you just think, yeah, we're onto something here. basically just the value of listening with attention to the girls, and not being judgmental, allowing the girls to speak and let them be heard. And also that the particular session that for me is also very critical is the ethics and values one, because it is so important for people who are going to be leaders of the future. We know of all the challenges we're facing in our country at this point in time. Ethics and values are big issues. And if we can instill that in young people as they go along, as they grow to become leaders of the future, I think we will have done a great job, where we teach, we show them the importance of, as an individual, having good ethics and values, whatever that means in their lives, but being aware of this as something that is critical in any leader of any kind, so that when they are faced with options later on in life or dilemmas in life, they basically will know where to stand and how to stand, basically, because they understand the importance of these values. And also as leaders, listening to other people and being able to take on other people's views and not think that you know it all, basically. And G4G teaches us that we know we don't know it all. Other people will have good inputs to give you, and through that you will grow and develop into a better leader, but also leading all the time with good ethics and values.